Welcome to Yorkshireman Models. Today we're going to be building the Airfix 172 Hawker Tempest Mark 5. Quick show you of the box. That's just all Bunf telling you about warnings and that, and obviously Hornby models and addresses. The side there. This is the main one that you need to know. You've got two decal options. There's a bit about the actual aircraft there. You've got a flying hour and it's telling you your colour of your paint you need. Skill level 2, that doesn't mean a great deal because most of the time that just really means number of parts. So some kits can be really hard on skill level 4 and then others can be really easy. All depends on parts, that's usually what they say. But anyway, we've got a lovely bit of box art and fantastic colour scheme because we've got the like what your class is like your D-Day but allied markings for it with the black and the white. So we'll get the box opened and we've got a bag of clear sprues and a big bag of parts here. I have opened this up before, as you can see, and we'll get my instructions out when I've got all this lot out. Lots of decals. It's a big sheet of decals actually for Airfix. That. Get my instructions and we can get cracked on, get this aircraft built, and let's see how much of a beauty she is with these decals on. As you can see, you did there, you've got on all of your black and white markings there, but you can, if you want, you could paint them up and just do them with either airbrushing, hand brushing, whichever you want to do. I haven't made my mind up what I'm going to do with them yet. I might do, I might not, I'll see when I come around to it. But we'll start building it because that's the main thing. Typical for Airfix, the first things you're doing is the seat and cockpit. If you watch, I'm just cutting the parts off, but I'm slightly away from the part itself when I nip it off. That way I can do this here, which is to cut the little bit of residue left off. That way I find less chance of breaking the part itself or any bits after it or like that. And then I just sand it down with a little bit of a file like this. A nail file, any kind of file will do it. I'm going to use here, as you can see, Tamiya extra thin. Any glue will do in reality, but this is my favourite, so this is why I use it, and this is the reason. Glues them quick. This part here, it's a little bit finicky. I did a couple of dry runs first before I went to head and glued it in place. Because you can see it's got a weird how it sits against it. It has to sit like that. Well, I'm saying it has, so I'm presuming it does, but that's the way I found it seemed to sit happy, so that's what I did there. You just got to be a bit careful with clear glue and all. With clear parts with glue, because it can make them all foggy. This is just some of the front pieces that you have to do. You can see there's that bit there, and then there's just that little circular bit you have to stick in. Pretty simple really. And then at the back, I'm not sure I needed this in because I'm doing it with wheels up, but you can see there that just sits in there and it's just glued in like that. This is a bit of black primer. It's my usual Mr. Service, but in reality any black primer will do. I always put some on because it does allow shadow lines and stuff like that if you need it, or when you're looking in, if it's an openish part it looks like it's all dark. This is Tamiya's Cockpit Green. I'm not 100% sure whether it's the right colour, but I'm going for that because that's what most of them were painted anyway in World War II. Just putting a bit of black nar on the face of the instrument panel, and a little bit more. I do a bit on seats. I have done, you could probably see there on one of them that's laid out that I've done a little bit on the internal cockpit. Reality though, you're not going to see it. It's too small a cockpit, you can't look in that much, which is a shame really, because there is quite a nice little bit of detail there, but it doesn't matter. And this is the decal, just putting it on where now that it's dried the paint on that. I should say they are cartograph decals, and the cracking decals. You can't knock them. Lovely decals. I do use a softener and that decal solution, as I do find it helps them to sit down better, and then when they've gone off, they seem to, they just look more realistic in my view. You don't get as much of that glossy film look. And there's a few you can use. I do prefer the 2-part ones, but hey, it's down to what you want. You can just use a straight up one that just sticks them down and you don't paint over them with another one. I should say the ones I'm using is Microsol and Microsol on this one, but I've got quite a few different ones. Just press any air out, making sure the decal's sat down, just using a cotton bud for that. And these are a couple of bits you've just got to glue in now. You've got that front nose piece there. That is open, you can see into that. Not so much from the back, but from the front certainly. And we've got the instrument panel, just sits there. Oh. That's it. There is a little bit of glue there. It's just not wanted to take to it right well. And that'll be because there's paint there. There. That should be fine like that. And I put a little bit of glue there just so I can sit the seat in. But in all honesty, it's going to hold nice and tight once the part goes on like this. Just make sure you get your seat lined up correctly. Otherwise it might make it push out a bit. Other than that, it's fine. There's little holes for the seat to sit in for the pins. I just go around like this and I just glue all the edges like that all the way around. I always make sure as well I use a bit of isopropyl alcohol stuff just to wipe off any paint that's on edges I'm going to glue when I'm gluing the fuselage together, just to make sure you get a really good seal and a good grip on it, because there's nothing worse than if it starts to peel apart. But yeah, I'll go all the way around. I'm not going to show you me doing every single part of this, because usually takes me a while, because I tend to hold it like this just to make sure it's gone off enough before I start moving on, because I have done it before and part will pop apart because you're moving too quick with it. The tail section, there's still some more tail section to do, so I'll just hold that bit and that'll be it. Now, doing wheels up, as I said I was going to do, so here we go, we're putting in the undercarriage and it's just sitting in there. You have got specific parts for this bit, rather than using the actual undercarriage when it's dropped down, trying to glue them in place. It's a little bit easier when you've got specific parts like that. And this section just glues straight in, fits straight over. Everything's fitting absolutely brilliantly. You can't knock it. It is brilliant tooling, this. To me it is anyway. I think it's fantastic. Putting the guns on now, you know what I'm like. If you've watched my videos before, I normally break these off, but they're a good decent thickness, these, so putting them in and hoping I don't break them off, but you never know. See by the end if I do or not. There's a couple of clear parts here for lights. You just drop them in. They're a nightmare to grab. They're that small, to be honest, but once they're in, a little tiny drop of glue like that, be fine. And now I'm just painting a little bit of silver on the back of these, just so it's got like that reflection, as if it's a light or something like that that's there. Again, just running it down edge like so, and then just hold the parts together like that. It don't take long for this glue to go off. You're looking at within 10 seconds it's usually glued up alright. And I say within 10 because if you overdo it half the time it could take quite a bit longer. Now these two parts, now you have to, I did a dry test and you can see you have to push that inside first like that. You do that, fits together, absolutely beautiful, and then you just go around gluing it together like so. Right, I've stuffed up. what I've done is, I don't know how I've done it, but I've turned a page too many, and I don't know, I've gone way too early, I've gone over to here, and I've done this bit, and then this, glued this together like this, done my drilling, and then I don't know how I've done it, but I forgot to do 11 and 12, which you'd say, oh, it's not too bad, but if you look on 11, it's got the foot pedals and the gear column. Also on it is the top on that, which is not a problem because that don't get affected, but it means I can't put them in now, the foot pedals. There's no way am I going to get the foot pedals in there, down there. It's impossible now because I've glued this. I've gone straight over thinking I've done that page, glued it in, stuffed up, but I can get the gear column in still. So what I've done is I've painted that up. I haven't finished it yet, I've got a couple of bit more details, but I can, because I can see into that. I don't know if you can, but you can just probably, yeah, you can just see into it round about that. Anyway, you can get it in, I can see where that seat sits, so I'll just have to do that and accept that as that's what it is. There's nothing I can do about it. Can't get that apart now without probably wrecking it. I know I could probably run Tamiya extra thin in it and it'd probably help, but nah, I'll just do what I've said there, and hopefully that'll put it right. So now, first of my mistakes put it right, but hey, just sits in this part, not a problem. It is, I think this one was a tiny bit warped. Kept pushing one end down and then you push the other and it'd try and spring out, so I just put a bit of glue on the first end, waited until it had gone off, then pushed the other in and glued it in. It was fine. We're getting close to the main parts built now, and we're putting the tail section together. These sitting lovely. I mean, you can put this part actually turned if you wanted, to make it look like it's banking or something like that if you wanted, but I like to put them straight as I find it looks a bit neater. But it's completely up to you what you want to do with it. We've got the last of the undercarriage cover there. You see what I mean when I say I don't know why I did all that painting on it, putting that part in and all that, because it's all covered up, it's all hidden. It's all really there for when you've got it open. We've got a part goes in there. You can see I flicked that in like sideways more than anything, and the reason I did that is if you try and put it in straight in, there's two pips and you'll catch them. These are a nightmare, I'm going to be honest. I'd have preferred a one piece on this build. Trying to get these together and hold them and glued up nice, it's hard. And I did find that once they'd come off of the sprue, maybe it's me, but they were warped as well. So that made it even worse for gluing them together. Just dry testing my propeller parts, just to make sure everything fits nicely together, and it looks like it does. I'm going to paint these up separate, makes it a lot easier. Right then, so we've got my black, as I was saying earlier, Mr. Robbie 1500 surfacer. This is already thinned. I do prep thin it already, as you can see on the top. This is the 0.3. I'm going to test it for artistry she primes, sprays a primer to see if she's any good. Right. Just open it up a bit more. I'm going to spray some Tamiya paint now, light grey first. So, underside, oh, I'll just move my ball better. Right, my underside first. Light coat first, if I can help it. Sometimes it does a bit thick, but try and do a light coat and back over with a dark, thicker one. There you go. I'm going to spray a slightly darker Tamiya grey on the top, and then we'll have a go with the camouflage after. Try a bit of freehand Don't know where it'll go though. But this is just the underside, well not the underside but the one of the main coats on the top. Again, spraying absolutely lovely, as you can see. Get what's in this, trying to get there. I'm doing the green camo section now, and I'm doing this, as you can see, by freehand. Now, normally I would put some blue tack on it, do it like that, but you might have seen this video, a bit of it, if you've watched my video I've put up previously. It's for testing the finger airbrush, so I've used the same footage, but it looks alright, it looks good. When I finished it all, it does look really well, so I'm happy with it. I don't always do this kind of camouflage like this. Like I say, I prefer to use the blue tack, because I can't abide when you get a lot of actual overspray, because I think it looks messy. But this has done a good job of it, and there's hardly any overspray at all. But yeah, I've got, as you can hear, the actual pressure is turned right down for this, and that's another reason for less overspray. Turn the pressure down a good bit, you get a nice actual controllable lines. Does look a bit blotchy at the minute, but when it dries perfectly. Right, Tamiya yellow going on here, and this is why I like to have my propeller parts separate. Can you imagine masking up all of those propellers and stuff like that just to paint that yellow on? This is just a bit of Tamiya's gunmetal, that's it. So I'm just painting the guns with that. You'll have heard me if you've watched a lot of my videos before. Tamiya is not my favourite for brush painting. When you're just doing small parts, though, I don't really have a problem with it. I don't find it too much of a nuisance. The problem is when it starts to dry. If you try and brush over it, you make it worse. This is 2,500 sanding block, just so I can take off any well, I say high bits, any like dust particles up that's gone in paint when I've painted, just so I can put a gloss on it, and then that way you'll not have any bumps appearing, so when you decal it don't look as bad. This is the gloss, Tamiya gloss, or clear as its proper name. It's just Tamiya clear. I do thin it down. It looks like there is loads going on here, but it's thin, nearly 60-40. This one were a nuisance to put on, but I'm just showing you. Just wraps around like so. And you can see, yeah, they are good decals, but at the same time, you still got to fiddle with them and tweak with them to get them exactly where you want them, like so. They do work though, they are quite good. That one needing a bit of a pushing about, but yeah, it fitted alright in the end. See there, I just had to just reposition it a little bit, and this is a good thing with these decals. They do take a little bit of manoeuvring, but you can see there I've already ripped it. Once they've had a bit of softener on, touched and stuff like that, they do start to get a little bit weak. So I did pull it right, it were okay. Just pushed it back into place. You can't see the rip at all. Just got to be a little bit careful when you're messing with them, that's all. I'm showing you now. I've already done a couple of them. I'm going to be honest, I forgot to press record, which is a bit of a kick me some moment, but I've still got somewhere I'm putting the black and white camo on. Now, these again went into place lovely. You've got two little cutouts on the actual decal, so you can push that up to the guns. I probably shouldn't be pushing it about with my fingers. A lot of people say it's a daft thing to do. You should use a brush or something a bit less grabby, but they went on fine. You can see there. So I'll try and squeeze as much of the air out, but there is bumps on this bit. You can see there. And the reason I'm not going too mad at it is because you ain't going to get all of that air out of there in one go. Not to me, anyway. I don't think you're going to get it out that easy. So this is where your microsol, rather than the microset. The microsol versions, the red one, as I say. Once I've finished pressing all of this out, best I can, I will then paint it with microsol. I'll give it probably up to a maximum of 5 minutes, and then I'll press it down, which I'll show you. I'll press it down with a microfiber cloth, and then that way it eases that air away or whatever, sits the decal down nice to the actual kit a lot better than what it is at the minute. Then that's all I do with a microfiber, is that just slightly push around on it. There you see them lines there. So here it is. I have them in these brush pens. If you're interested, I always get asked about this. These brush pens I got off Amazon. They're very cheap. I got 3. I've used 2 like this, and I've had them for now a good couple of years, and they're still working fine. Just put a bit of each, whichever one I'm using. You can see there's a blue one there on the desk. This one's got red on end, and that's the microsol, and then the other one's the microset. It's best to do it like that, and then I won't forget. And there you go, pressing that air out a bit. Now that you see the decal stuck down well now, and now that air, you can see already that part of that decal's gone down lovely. The roundels on, well, I said last, there's quite a few decals left to go. You get quite a lot of small warning marking stuff like that to go on it. I've used them all. I've managed to put them all on without destroying any or losing some, which makes a change. But yeah, just be a bit careful when you're putting decal on decal. Make sure to get it done as quick as you can, because they tend to stick to them well. It's sticking to what it really likes, which is another decal. And these are not central. They're slightly forward, and they're just off of the actual black and white markings. You just brush these out like so. Just get any air fluid underneath. So now we've got this painted up, the propeller and all of that, we can now start and glue it together. I did just brush paint with some Tamiya yellow, the same as what the nose is, the tips on these propeller blades. I do like how they make it nice and easy to build these parts like this, does Airfix. They don't make it where you've gotten all the propellers are individuals, you've gotten half a dozen little tiny bits to glue in, and yeah. Don't mind so much when it's 1/48 scale, I can accept it, when doing all individual propellers, but when it's just like that's all I want. I don't want it made more harder than what it needs to be. These just slot in. Not hard about that. I just put a little dab of glue in first, and it is only a little dab. I've learnt my own mistakes by putting too much in. Just pushes in, very easy as you can see. I am not gluing that, I'm just going to leave it so I can move it, change it, do whatever. I can even take it off if I'm going to put it into storage, and it won't end up with the propellers getting broke as easy. Right, this is a classic, right. Trying to put them on, I can't get the pilot in, and if you look, it's telling me in stage, as you can see, I'm at the end here, stage 38, stick your pilot in. It's not before, so you try and put him in, and he's way too fat. He won't go past, his arms won't go past, you can see, like that. So what I did, is twist him. So you put him in half sideways, as you can see there, and then you twist him back round. So he's going to sit in eventually and sit down into his seat. A little bit of rough handling for poor bloke, but he's in end. There you go. A little handy tip. I don't know if you've seen me do it before, but I'll put a little bit of that light Revel glue there into my little dish there, and then I'll put the tiny parts, a little dab on them, on end, and then sit them onto the part like that, rather than trying to put the glue onto the actual kit. Don't get me wrong, I do put the glue on the kit and make mistakes, but hey, You saw there, I'm looking at print stand on and don't fit. They're completely different ends. I realised they're completely different stands. It is an Airfix one. I will stand up, but so what I'm going to have to do, like you see here, is I've cut the centre section out, just so, probably a bit more than that. Just trying to. This is another thing. You make it too wide and it goes a bit floppy, which it will do. I'll tell you the truth. But at least this way, I can get my stand to work. Like so. Nope. No, it looked like there was something there. But yeah, should go in this. Yeah, probably just need a bit of squeezing in now. There's just a little bit more I'm going to have to just chamfer away. That's the other thing. You see, I've got all my little tiny parts on there. You're risking snapping them off. You know, when you're trying to chop away with it. There you go. That's probably why it won't go in, that big part there. Yeah, there you go. Just painting up the last little tiny bits now. This is the last bit that's getting painted and this is in black. I probably could have left it grey, in all honesty, but it looked a little bit strange, you know, sticking out of the black paint, and that's grey. So I'm painting it up black so it blends in a little bit better. I might be wrong doing that, but to me, it just looked nicer. Spraying on Winsor Newton flat varnish. Anybody who knows me knows this is my favourite, but yeah. And having a stand now makes it even easier because I've sprayed the underside, holding it like that. And now I can just blast away happily and spray the top like this. Again, thinned exceedingly a lot. You'll see a lot, as if it's probably about, again, 60-40. But looks like there's a lot on, but it soon evaporates and leaves a lovely finish. This is Elmer's Purple Glue. Got it from Asda. It's a shop in the UK supermarket. Out like normal white glue. Anything that dries clear, I find, the best glue you can ever have for canopies. Yes, you can buy specialised canopy glues and all of that, and they're quite expensive. But I find this works, and a lot of the time what I find works, I stick with. A lot of people like to glue these in part before they even start painting, which is not a problem. I did mask them up. That's why you get your nice crisp lines, and masking up it is a pain, but it does work. It's not been a bad build in all honesty. It's been a nice kit. Yeah, I've made my mistake, like when I forgot to put the pedals in and stuff like that. I'm just going to take it off the stand so you can see it a bit better. But in all honesty, for the money you pay for this kit, it is fantastic. The decals, as you can see, have sat down. Absolutely brilliant there. There is no bubbling, it's fine, absolutely brilliant. They've all gone down lovely. These cartograph decals are absolutely great in all honesty. Not so perfect there, I couldn't get it a perfect line up. I tried quite a few times but I never managed to do it, but these ones have come out brilliant. Maybe it should have been a little bit more forward or a little bit more back, that maybe about, I don't know. I've done it to where I saw a little bit on the box art, you can see there's a bit of a gap there to it, so I did the same there, just a little bit of a gap, probably not as much as the one on box art, but hey, you do what you can. So would I do another? Well, I've got another to do anyway, so yeah, I certainly would. The next one, unlike this, because I've not weathered this at all, I've just built the kit as it's come and really enjoyed it. The next one I'll weather so you can see the difference between two. I must be honest, I think there's two different styles now of these. This is a proper Airfix one. You could just see it inside there, it does say Airfix. And I'm wondering whether this is the newer style, the kit was made for the older, or the other way around. I've still got quite a few of these left from when I bought them years ago, so this is probably just different style, so you have to be a bit careful with that if you're going to put it on a stand. But other than that, yeah, lovely kit, lovely little build. So, hope you've enjoyed this little video I've put up. Oh, hold on a sec. But anyway, I'll carry on. I hope you've enjoyed this video. That's it. And if you have, please give us a thumbs up, or even better, which is to subscribe to the channel. You'll get to see all the builds, the reviews, all the testing of products and everything else that I do. Be really grateful if you can do that. I'm pushing for the 5,000 subscribe, hopefully before end of year. Be well chuffed if I can get there. So thanks a lot for watching it. Hope you've enjoyed it, and I'll see you around next time.